And what we see is that there are several problems that we've seen across this webinar, and we have specific solutions for that. First, malware and its dwell time on computers. While malware exists on devices, it has the ability to, of course, exfiltrate data, steal passwords, and wreak havoc in other forms. And to prevent this, we would want to have an effective endpoint security solution. When it comes to data breaches and stolen data, if the data was encrypted, it makes it much harder for hackers to leverage the data that they stole. So having a good endpoint encryption solution is key. And finally, we saw how weak passwords can contribute to these data breaches, and that most employees, even IT employees, utilize poor password policy. That's why a two-factor authentication solution can be so important. Because two-factor authentication is actually one of the easiest solutions to implement due to employees' familiarity with the solution, because it's already utilized in the mainstream with email providers, iCloud, and banks. So when it comes to these solutions, ESET has the ability to offer you protection in these different areas. So it looks like the most important items for a business to deploy or update today looks like cybersecurity awareness training. We'll talk a little bit about what ESET offers in that realm in a few minutes. And endpoint security. Looks like encryption is actually the lowest on the list as well. So what specifically does ESET have to help and give you the best defense against these data breaches that we see? So first, a little bit of background on ESET, who we are, and then we'll hop into the solution. So ESET has now been in endpoint security for 30 years. And across those 30 years, we've continually evolved our solutions and continually innovated in the IT and endpoint security industry. We, of course, have continued to grow from 3 employees way back in 1987 to over 1,400 employees worldwide in 2017. We also have offices across the world. As you can see, in all of the major continents, we have offices, including our local office in San Diego, California. ESET is now the 5th largest endpoint security vendor globally. And when you look at just the business segment, we are the 4th largest endpoint security vendor in the business segment. From an endpoint security standpoint, ESET offers solutions that can protect all of the different items you might have in your organization. So whether it's Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS, we have solutions that can protect all of those different endpoints, and all of the protection is managed via a single point of entry and a single management server. We also have specific solutions for servers, such as our mail security product that does not just protect against malware. It also has a very good spam protection that will prevent any of that spam and phishing email from getting to your users at all. And then we have protection just generally for servers, also for SharePoint servers, then finally at the gateway level in case you have something like a public Wi-Fi. At the endpoint level, like I mentioned, we continually evolve. And there's been lots of talk in the news about AV vendors being old and not evolving with the threats that are out there today. This little graph here shows that ESET is not an old vendor, but an established vendor that does not base their proactive detection on a single technology, but with a fully multi-layered approach. And this multi-layered approach is carried out with a mixture of automated processing, manual processing, and other components built directly into the endpoint. As you can see, we've now been doing things such as heuristic detection since 1995, behavioral detection since 2002. We've been blocking exploits since 2013. And that was created because of the fact that we know users fail to upgrade things like Java, Flash, and browsers. So we added protection to help against these items being exploited. And network detections in 2015 helped to prevent malware from spreading, command and control malware from operating, or botnets from carrying out attacks or communication back to their central host. Also, we utilize machine learning. And we've been using machine learning back since 1997 in the form of neural networks. Machine learning was utilized in our DNA detections in cloud in 2005. Then our classic machine learning model was implemented in 2012. And one of the most important things about machine learning is having a good training set. If you don't know what's good and what's bad and you don't have a history of looking at that, how does the computer know what to decide? You need a very good and powerful training set in order to create a good machine learning model. And in fact, ESET uses machine learning in two different ways. We use it with neural networks to help with processing the multiple thousands of samples we receive every day. And we also use it with consolidated output. So what that does is it allows us to look and evaluate 6 different detection algorithms. Then, if we see that one out of those 6 algorithms says that the file is clean, the file is clean. And we have even more in-depth information about our machine learning that we utilize in all ESET products in our resource list in the top right-hand corner of your screen. One of the biggest things that people realize or understand about AV is that switching antivirus or anti-malware can be a nightmare. It requires several reboots, downtime, and it doesn't work sometimes. So what ESET did is we created something called ESET Rip and Replace, which simplifies and automates the migration of any AV to ESET. It's a single MSI, no reboots, no downtime, no user interaction, and we guarantee it to work 100% of the time. So now it's very, very quick, easy, and painless for you to migrate from any endpoint security solution you have to ESET. And there's nothing that you have to worry about after. ESET also has secondary products offerings in the areas of 2FA and encryption. Of course, we mentioned the importance of 2FA and encryption in the previous slides about data breaches and how this can help prevent those things from happening. Our 2FA solution is unique because it's such a small footprint. It's a 13 megabyte installer. It requires no dedicated hardware at all, and it integrates directly into Active Directory. So this makes it very easy for small businesses to deploy. We have lots of lawyer offices, doctor's offices, and many other areas utilizing our 2FA system because it's so quick and easy to set up. Simply open up a user account in Active Directory and click a checkbox to enable 2FA. This can then add two-factor things like desktop login, VPNs, Radius, Outlook Web Access, and many more things. Our encryption solution seeks to simplify the encryption products not just for IT admins, but for end users. It's centrally managed, requires no network changes at all, and allows admins to fully manage the solution no matter where devices might be. This also allows them to easily remotely remove access to the device in the case of an employee termination or the device being lost or stolen. Not all the time do companies have sensitive information, but they also have information that is required by compliance to be protected. So some companies, they deploy this because they don't want their sales data being stolen or compromised. So they have lots of remote employees, and they want to have the ability to remotely wipe computers in case they terminate those employees. And this allows you to do that whether employees are at home, working at Starbucks, or any other remote location. It also contains what we like to call user-proof removable media, which without any user interaction keeps home data at home and work data at work by segmenting flash drives after they're plugged in and keeping the work data encrypted. We also have further information in our resource list about both of these solutions, including on-demand demos that you can access to see the products in action. And then the final thing is that ESET also provides free cybersecurity awareness training for business. Because as we have seen, your security is only as strong as your weakest link. The free online training is under 2 hours and gives employees everything they need to know to protect your network. The online training is available on demand. You also have the ability to download the presentation and customize it to your own program. Maybe you have your own L&D department or your own training department. You can download and leverage the presentation in your own environment. It also includes a certification that allows you to document employees' progress with certifications and badges that are given to them when they complete it. A link to this training is available in our resource list, and you can find the link at the bottom of this slide. And like I mentioned, it is completely free for businesses and employees to sign up and utilize it. Other resources that are important to tap for other answers and questions to different security topics I covered today are right here. Including that cybersecurity training for business, we also have things like that other website I talked about to see if your accounts have been compromised at any point in time.